मेरा रास्ता वखरा इस करके मैं भुल्ल साहब नाल संदर्भ प्रगट करदा ਉਹਦੀ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਿਆਂ ਲਈ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਰ ਜਿਸ ਦਿਨ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਏਗੀ ਵਰਤਾਰਾ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਨਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another episode of RajoanaTV. Today I'm going to discuss somebody who's dubbed the supercop of India, KPS Gill. But before I do that, I want to just say that I've been getting messages on Facebook and emails asking whether I belong to a particular organisation, do I represent anybody, can they contact me via any kind of organisation. What I like to say to those people is I'm just a normal man. I'm just a normal guy like the people who are watching this. I go to work, I come home, I chill with my friends and I chill with my family. But the Indian government has made my heart bleed. And because of that, we're being forced to do these kind of things so that we can let everybody else know who thinks that India is a democratic country, who thinks that India is a brilliant nation, is the biggest democracy in India, to tell them that what is actually happening, not just from a Sikh perspective, but from a humanitarian perspective. So so that's the message I wanted to get out to everybody. Now let's go on to somebody called KPS Gill. KPS Gill has been dubbed the supercop of India. He's been dubbed this because he's so-called got rid of terrorism in Assam and in Panjab. So before we go on to discover this guy, we're just going to give you a bit of background about who KP Gill is and whether he actually is a supercop or he's a super butcher. Now, KPS Gill joined the Indian Police Service in 1958. He came from the state of Punjab. He was drafted into Assam and he rose through the ranks because he was a very brutal character. He became one of the inspectors in Assam, and because he was alerted to the authorities as somebody who didn't mind killing innocent people, who would go to any means to quell any kind of uprising by the people, he was drafted into Punjab in the 1980s during the civil and human rights movement of the Sikhs, led by Sant Singh Ji Khalsa Brindranwale. For being renowned as such a trained killer in Assam, when he was drafted into Punjab, he was made the Director General of Panjab Police straight away. The reason was because he'd left his morals, he's dug them 100 feet into the ground, he's left all his decency 100 feet into the ground, he's buried any kind of conscience that he's got. He went into Punjab and led the police force. Now, he's accredited for getting rid of terrorism, and he's seen as a counter-terrorist expert. But these are the techniques, and I'm just going to read some things out to you guys, and these are the things he used as counter-terrorism, and we'll just see what terrorism actually looks like. So the things I'm going to read out, they were done regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of whether the person was old, young, whether they were suspected of anything. These kind of atrocities were carried out onto innocent people, and this is why during the 1980s, a whole generation had been mowed down, and this is how they were mowed down. Some of the interrogation techniques. To interrogate the Sikhs, and this isn't just Sikh people who are saying this, these are human rights organisations. If you look at Ram Narayan Kumar's book, Reduced to Ashes, he actually documents this. To interrogate the Sikhs, a round log of wood is placed on their legs, and after putting heavy weight on the log, it is rotated on the legs. This isn't somebody who's suspected of terrorism. This is just a Sikh full stop. An armed Punjabi, innocent, poor people like we've got family back home, those kind of people. Chili powder is sprinkled in the eyes and sex organs of the Sikhs. This is counter-terrorism. The Sikhs are hung upside down from the ceilings till they become unconscious. This is counter-terrorism. The body joints are battered. This is counter-terrorism. Electric shocks are given, making most of the youth impotent. Now, not only is that a short-term, painful experience, electric shocks, but look at the long-term tyranny of this man. He's trying to say, we don't even want these Sikh people to be able to reproduce. Counter-terrorism. The Sikh women, during interrogation, are hurt in their sex organs. Filthy abuse is showered on them, and rape is routine. Violence is inflicted on the parents in presence of their sons and daughters, and vice versa. Even if you look at a film that was released not so long ago by Gurdas Man, it was called Des Waya Pardes. It was a very in the middle kind of film. The fact that it was released means a lot of the truth was hidden away. But even the directors and people like Gurdas Mann had to admit in their very film, if you look at some of the scenes, they're asking a sister to urinate in the mouth of her brother. And this wasn't even interrogation, it was simply to shame these people, it was simply to just make them feel as if they're dirt. That was counter-terrorism. Brothers were given a beating by sisters and vice versa. And the worst kind of atrocities were inflicted on adult girls in front of their fathers. Counter-terrorism. The dead bodies of the Sikhs, once all this interrogation and this torture had happened, and they had their filthy way with what they wanted, this horrible thing that they had in their mind, that they want to make these people suffer the worst kind of atrocities, the kind of atrocities we hear about during the Mughals regime, during Wazir Khan's regime, Jahangir's, Aurangzeb's. These kind of atrocities, Banda Singh Bahadur being chopped into little pieces. Bhai Anok Singh had the same thing in our very own lifetime. Gurdev Singh Debu was boiled alive. Boiled alive. Counter-terrorism. But after these interrogation techniques, the bodies weren't even given back to the families. Now imagine that. Imagine we've got families ourselves. I mean, my granddad, grandma, they passed away 4 or 5 years ago. We were given the bodies back. We've done a funeral every year. We're doing a con part. We never forget them. Never ever forget them. But not only were these people taken away from their families and that family ripped to pieces, but they weren't even humane enough to give the body back. It was thrown in the rivers. And to such an extent that the Haryana government had to complain to the centre that, can you tell Punjab to stop throwing bodies into the river, it's blocking our water. Counter-terrorism. The state manipulates tailored post-mortem reports from the doctors and burns the dead bodies of the Sikhs after falsely declaring them unclaimed. So mass illegal cremation grounds were taking place in Punjab, mass cremations that nobody knew about. So thousands and thousands and thousands of Sikhs were made to disappear without any trace whatsoever. All sorts of excesses are made on the parents of the underground Sikh youth. So Sikh youths who were forced to leave their homes, what the police would do, they'd come into a village, and this is under the orders of KP Gill. All of this is under his direction. This is his way of this is his method of counter-terrorism. They'll go into a village, cordon it off, call out all the young men from the ages of, 10 to 30, put them in a truck, and nobody ever saw them again. So what happened after that? Young Sikh guys like myself, like you guys who are watching this, we just left our homes because we thought, why would we want to go to a police station and suffer the most indignities, the most amount of indignities in the world, when I can try and get some dignities, try and get some dignity, try and get some power back to my people by leaving home. But those kind of guys were hunted down and mowed down like dogs. No bodies were ever given back. False post-mortems that they were killed in encounters. But as we know, Punjab became a place where fake encounters were rife. They'd see a normal young Sikh man like me, like you, ploughing his field, shoot him dead from a distance, put a gun next to him, and then encounter with a terrorist. This is what life was like in Punjab under KPS Gill. And this is what life was like for Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana. Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana lived under the tyrannical regime of KP Gill. Now, at the moment, Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana's name is on everybody's lips. He's created a mass movement. But a lot of us are embroiled in the whole execution, the human rights of Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana, whether they should be executed or whether they should be freed. But let's take a step back and look at what Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana done. But why? More importantly, why they done it. Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana was a normal guy like me, like you guys who are watching this. Again, he went to college, he chilled out with his friends, he done his farming, he ate roti, he loved to live life the way we live life. He was a normal guy. But he was plunged into a world of darkness where those things that I've just described were part of everyday life. Now, if we look at Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana personally, their father was shot dead, killed by under the police orders. But Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana's best friend, family friend, Bhai Harpreet Singh Goldie, this was Bhai Balwant Singh Rajoana's best friend. He had a sister who was married. She was a normal girl, smart looking girl, intelligent, from the village. She married a guy from Canada. But what did the police do? They picked up Harpreet Singh Goldie's sister, even though she was newly married, and gang raped her. Each one of those vicious police animals, and it wasn't looters and it wasn't bandits who did this, it was the police under the orders of KPS Gill. They raped her. Each one of those animals had their vicious way with her, and afterwards they killed her. So even from a personal perspective of Bhai Balwant Singh Ji Rajoana, even if we don't talk about the whole of the Punjab as a whole, just look at Bhai Balwant Singh Ji Rajoana and what must he have felt, knowing that I am living in a country where my father's been shot dead by the police who were supposed to protect me, and my best friend's sister has been raped, even though she's newly married, by the police that are supposed to protect her. So look at the fate of somebody like Bibi Amardeep Kaur, the sister of Bhai Goldie, who's also like a sister to Bhai Balwant Singh Ji Rajoana. But that's just a case that we're talking about, a single case. There's thousands like this. As I was talking previously about the army and the police, the paramilitary moving in, and it's not just me saying this. Joyce Pettigrew's book, The Sikhs of Punjab, she talks about things like this, and she documents how the police and the paramilitary would cordon off a whole area and have their way with the whole people of the innocent people in that village. When they'd go in, if they didn't find any young men, they'd take away the women. They'd take away 70-year-old mothers, they'll take away grandmothers, they'll take away little babies. Even people like Bhai Banjwar and Bhai Manochal, their mothers who were in their 70s, they were taken into police stations in Amritsar and Gurdaspur, police stations like Guru Har Gobind Sahib Thana and the Jabal Thana. To this day, we haven't seen a trace of those two 70-year-old women. And these are people who are quite prominent in the human rights movement. Imagine the people who weren't even prominent, they weren't part of anything. They were just living in their village, trying to live a normal life, and all of a sudden, they're unleashed. A whole bunch of hell is unleashed on them. Father's been shot dead, brother's been shot dead, thrown in a river, sister's been raped, mother's been raped. And this is by police, army and the politicians. And it's all legalized under India's constitution. And all under the nose of the brave KPS Gill. Counter-terrorism. Under the leadership of this KPS Gill, a whole generation of young men and women had been completely wiped out. They were mowed down like a combine harvester in the fields of Punjab. They were mowed down. Nothing left. Families didn't even have bodies back. Nothing's left. They have nothing left. And KPS Gill makes it a policy that whichever copper, whichever police under my supervision kills the most amount of Sikhs, they will get promotions. Now let's look at the promotions. Somebody like Sameer Saini, who's scarily heading the Panjab Police as we stand. He became the SSP of 6 different districts in Punjab because he was such a powerful killer. He was such a skilled killer of innocent young people, old people, babies and children. Because of people like KPS Gill and Saini, in places like Amritsar and Gurdaspur, after 10-15 years of that butchery, you couldn't find a young man to marry a Punjabi girl. There was nobody left. Nobody. But this isn't just me saying it, some normal lad sitting in a Western country trying to feed you stuff that isn't true. Do the research yourself. And the man who brought this to the fore was a human rights activist called Sardar Jaswant Singh Ji Khalra. They were a human rights activist in Punjab at the time. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because you can find all these facts out yourselves. If you type in Jaswant Singh Khalra on a Google search, you'll see the findings of their commission. If you type their name into YouTube, you'll see the speeches that they've done internationally in Canada and America, the way they tried to highlight how KPS Gill was massacring our Sikhs. He's trying to tell everybody, look, this is happening in Punjab, wake up, do something. But everybody stayed asleep. So please type Jaswant Singh Khalra's name in. But generically, Jaswant Singh Ji Khalra found that there was illegal cremation grounds all over Punjab. But specifically, they looked at Amritsar district and Gurdaspur. And in their commission, they found that 25,000 illegal cremations of Sikhs had taken place. When I say these illegal cremations, these are the guys and the girls and the old men and the babies that were taken from their homes. They were taken into these slaughter houses that they call Panjab police stations. and they were killed and then thrown into a hole and just set on fire. These people were illegally cremated, 25,000. This was only some of the research that Jaswant Singh Kalra done. Now, Jaswant Singh Kalra became a very prominent activist. He even told the international community to highlight the plight of our people. What does KPS Gill do? The supercop. He threatens by Jaswant Singh Kalra openly in the media that if you want to try and discover the bodies of these unclaimed bodies of 25,000 Sikhs, then add another number to it. And he's trying to hint in the media, look at the evil of the man, but look at the evil of that country that they don't even say. How can you even say that in the media? He says, add one more, which is your own. And ironically, Sardar Jaswant Singh Kalra became the victim of his own project. And how did Sardar Jaswant Singh Kalra become the victim of his own project? KPS Gill. KPS Gill not only made the threat through the media, he carried that threat out. What did KPS Gill do? He appointed Ajit Singh Sandhu, an SSP of Panjab Police, to abduct Jaswant Singh Kalra from his own house and take him to an interrogation centre. Now I'll tell you about the witness. This isn't just me talking. Take him to an interrogation centre where the most inhumane torture was inflicted upon Jaswant Singh Kalra. Inhumane. And this was personally overseen by KPS Gill and Ajit Singh Sandhu and 6-7 others, police officials. Sardar Jaswant Singh Kalra was then shot dead. His life was taken away. The human rights activist who with so much bravery tried to tell the international community that this is happening to our people in Punjab. A butcher, an actual butcher has been appointed, a trained killer has been appointed as the head of the police. He's inflicting the most amount of damage and tyranny and murder and rape on the people of Punjab. He tried to highlight this, but for doing this, KPS Gill killed him and just threw his body away. Now, after such a prominent human rights activist was killed, the CBI, who are corrupt to the core anyway, who said that the Delhi massacres in '84, there wasn't much evidence. There wasn't much evidence about Sameer Saini and his killings. They were forced to look into the case. And they had no choice but to get some findings. What they found was, now this is official CBI figures. Any official figure, I will always say times it by 10. CBI said that in the Amritsar district alone, they found that 3,000 Sikh families had one or more person missing that they had never seen again. Now look at one or more. More than one could even be 25. And this is their official figures. Unofficial figures times by 10. If our grandfathers, if our fathers didn't decide to move to this country, we would have been in those illegal cremation grounds. But we're living in this democracy. We have the full rights to speak from the heart, to speak about what's happened to our people. So we are going to do this. And we know KPS Gill what he's done. Now, just from this video alone, you can get a flavour of what KPS Gill is like. A murderer, a looter, a rapist and a pillager. But let's look at the CBI's findings now. Now, if you've got a butcher as a head of police, you would think that the CBI who are investigating this, they found 3,000. Okay, we know there's thousands more, but they found 3,000 families who've been affected by this. What do they do? What is the result of their commission? They offer each family 2 lakh rupees. Now, just for those who are sitting in Western countries, 2 lakh rupees is about £1,600. £1,600 is what a Sikh's life is worth in India. £1,600 is something we may even earn in a month. It's something some people spend in 2 weeks. That very government put £1,600 value on the life of an innocent human being, on the life of an innocent Sikh. So after mowing down Punjab, setting it on fire, destroying everything that was good in Punjab, KPS Gill ups and leaves. He ups and leaves Punjab. His work's done. The super cop has done his job. Families are crying, families are left broken, and he's done his job. Terrorism has been finished. I'll leave it to you guys to decide who the real terrorist is. But let's just fast forward a bit, 1996, and let's look at the man's very nature to know that what he is capable of, his very inane nature. In 1996, he was accused of sexually assaulting a senior Indian service admin worker, Rupal Bajaj. He sexually assaulted this woman in broad daylight. She made a complaint and this was investigated. The courts found KPS Gill guilty. He was sentenced to 3 months rigorous imprisonment, 2 months relaxed imprisonment, and 3 years probation. KPS Gill, knowing that I've got the full backing of the Supreme Court, I've got the full backing of Delhi appeals, and they uphold agree with the appeal, and they cancel his sentence and say, right, you just have to pay a certain amount fine. This Rupal Bajaj was so disgusted with the system that she said, I don't even want your money. If you've got these kind of people in charge, I don't even want your money. Now, we know he's a sexual predator. We know he's a sexual harasser. But what I'd like to ask you guys is this. If this could happen to a woman in 1996, who's a senior service worker in India's administration in broad daylight at a party, what did he do to those helpless, poor, innocent people of Punjab? What did those innocent young girls who had nowhere to turn, whose brothers had been killed, whose fathers had been killed, what did they go through? So to conclude, there's so much more I can say about this filthy animal who has come back into Punjab. But I don't want my mothers, my sisters, my brothers, I don't want you guys just to sit back and watch this video and think, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I want you guys to do something. I want you guys to write to Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Asia Watch. Write to your MEPs and say, KPS Gill, a known butcher of people, has come back into my state. My family are there. I feel for their safety. I fear for their safety. I don't think anybody's safe in this guy's hands. It was bad enough that Sumedh Saini is back, Sharma is back. But now all of a sudden, Mr. Supercop, Mr. Butcher of innocent people, he's rolled back into Punjab. And this is because by Balwant Singh Ji Rajoana's case, the turmoil in Punjab, the emotion we're all feeling, they want to dampen that by putting somebody like KPS Gill and Sumedh Saini right back into the fray where they can have their lustful way with Sikh blood again. We cannot let that happen. We have to be their ears and eyes. We have to do that. If we were in Punjab and the roles were reversed, the people in Punjab were sitting here, what would we expect from our brothers and sisters in England and in Canada, America, UK? What would we expect from them? We'd want their support, but more importantly, we'd want them to be active. Use your pen, use your mind, contact these people, and let's highlight these people, put the spotlight on them. In the 1980s, they got away with everything. We cannot let them get away with this one. Vaisakhi is around the corner, and we can imagine, if we go back on previous history, just 20, 30 years ago, that they could be planning another massacre of our people. Why is Sumedh Saini back in charge? Why has KPS Gill rolled back into Punjab after 16 years of being away? Why is he suddenly back in? And if you do not believe what I'm saying, then do your own research. Go to Punjab, speak to Bibi Paramjit Kaur, the wife of Jaspal Singh Ji Khalra. She will tell you absolutely everything. She will tell you how her family's been ripped to shreds, and she'll tell you how Punjab's families, all of Punjab's families, have been ripped to shreds under KPS Gill. And to rub salt in our wounds, the Bollywood industry are making a film about KPS Gill, the supercop. Just to rub salt in our wounds. What kind of country do we think we belong to? What kind of country is this? KPS Gill, a butcher, a rapist, a paedophile, a looter, a pillager is back in Punjab.
पर एक सवाल सी जेड़ा उन्हां रिपोर्टां चों सानू कोई जवाब नहीं सी दे रहा। वो सवाल ये सी कि हज़ारां मावां अपने पुत्तां नूं उड़ीक रहीआं ने, चाहे कईयां नूं पता है कि पुत्त हुण इस दुनिया ते जरमानिया नहीं छड्डिया, पर मां दा दिल ऐसा हुंदा है कि वह पुत्त दी लाश देख के भी यकीन नहीं करती कि उहदा पुत्त उहनूं छड्ड गया। ते जिन्ना मावां ने अपने जायां दियां लाशां भी नहीं सी देखियां, वो साडे ते सवाल कर रही कि इन्ना तो पता कर दिओ कि साडा पुत है भी कि नहीं। उन्हां भैणां दे वीर, उन्हां भैणां दे हत्थां 'च फड़ियां रखड़ियां वीरां नूं देख रहीआं सी। कई बीबियां भैणां साडियां असीं घरों तोरन लई रोकी खड़े सां, क्योंकि जिन्हां नाल मंगियां सी, जिन्हां नाल विआहणियां सी, पुलिस ने चुक्किया। सानूं पता नहीं, साडी रवायत है कि साडी धी ओहदी है, लेकिन पता नहीं वो आऊगा कि नहीं। इस कहानी नूं जदों असीं शुरू कीता तां पहलां तां असीं इस गल ते अंकड़े इकट्ठे किए कि किन्ने पुत, किन्ने भरा, किन्ने पति ते किन्ने बच्चे लापता ने। पर जदों असीं इस विषय ते गल शुरू की तां अनेकां मावां, अनेकां भैणां ये गल कहण लई तैयार नहीं सी। वो कहंदियां सी, पुत जे गल तुसां गांह कर दित्ती, साडा पुत जिंदा है अजे, वो मार देणगे, तुसीं गल ना करिओ, असीं तुहानूं भी नहीं दसना। तां असीं एक रफ जिहा एस्टीमेट दुनिया के सामने रखा कि कल्ले अमृतसर जिले 2000 बच्चे लापता है। सरकार सानू दसे कि कित्थे ने। सरकार चुप सी। असीं फिर कुछ परिवारां वल्लों हाई कोर्ट च पटीशनां कराइयां कि दसो ये बच्चे कित्थे ने। तां सरकार ने हल्फिया बयान दिते कि असीं इन्हां बच्चिआं नूं जाणदे ही नहीं।